rethought of the way our business is going to work. That was pretty good. That was very good. Came far, used that, so basically before that, what I generally do, social media for flooring companies, right? Baseline. I changed some things up, which means then I also did it for traders. That was already the case before. So those are the ones that will give the contractors their wood, for example, or the different kind of floors that they need, right? So I would do their social media and I would do their social media. Okay, these guys are pretty big fish. These guys are like pretty small fish. And then I thought, the problem is that's a pretty limited amount of people. It's a niche. It's a limited amount of people. It's all right. It's fine. But it means that, I got to be getting some good cash from them because I can't, my scope isn't that wide, right? Also the problem, getting the trust of traders, not that easy. So, or getting even the trust of contractors, since I don't have a proof to back myself up. How do I get there? One thing I learned from the stream, and it makes a lot of sense, the better your offer, the less you need to rely on credibility. The worse your offer, the better your credibility has to be, right? So if your offer has guarantees, you need less credibility. It's the point of the guarantee, right? And I was thinking, if I have the connection to these two people here, contractors and traders, then I have a bunch of contacts. And I could offer those to premium customers, which means I could make like an exclusive network for the best customers out there, most expensive, high-paying ones, and I could just connect them with the best contractors I know, because at some point I'll have that network, right? And the way I'd have to do that, right, I need to network a bunch, and for networking a bunch, I need to contact architects, building companies, make content about it, and hit up realtors. So that's what I did. Yesterday I just walked up to a bunch of realtors. Three. What's a bunch, right? I walked up to realtors. I was like, is this conceptually interesting? Would you care about that? One said no, the other one said yeah, the other one said call me. But one said yeah, and that's already pretty good because they have some nice properties I saw. And so if I can, it's a self-strengthening system because the more premium customers I get, the more I can contact contractors about, having this premium network. The more contractors I have, the more premium customers I can actually supply, right? The more traders I'm working with, the higher my trust, like the higher my credibility, which means I can work with more contractors and more premium customers. Okay, the more of contractors and premium customers I have, the more trust I have to be able to work with traders. So yeah, hey, that's like a good system. I hope that makes sense. I hope that works. Point number 2, the actual thing that we're going for now, is we're gonna check out my content, and we're gonna think of doing something different here. It's not been working, and it makes sense that it's not been working because low key something's been wrong. You know what I mean? I've been doing something wrong, and we're gonna revise that. Definitely, I know the way the kind of energy I've been appearing with doesn't suggest a competent persona, right? And that's because I also wanted my content to be more fun. I wanted my content to have more, fun is maybe the wrong word. I wanted it to be more, effervescent, more bubbly, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna go away from that a bit, for sure. Because I am also just, I'm an excited person. I'm a happy person. I have an exuberant expression, but it shouldn't detract from my authority, right? Exactly. So we're going to look at that. We're going to see how I can restructure my content. Because if someone saw me, if they looked at my personal brand, which wouldn't be unsurprising if I'm talking with a customer and they Googled me and they saw me, and then it says there, like, I'm starting a company every 3 months. It's like, bro, I'm not going to do business with you. Valid as shit. I wouldn't do business with me either. Which means we're going to take some time to rethink that. We're going to take some time to look at my niche, my niche, my ideal customer profile, right? My ICP in this case. Yeah, see what we can do there. I know it's gonna go in business. Like we can already, let me see, is this readable enough or should I make the screen quality better? Yeah, I'll make it bigger. I just know that last time when I made it bigger, my camera started, my camera suddenly became slower, and I don't want that. But I think this should be fine. Okay, let's get it. Is it zoomed in enough? I'm gonna just zoom it in a bit for the vibes. Configure video. Do something like that. Yeah. Oh, nope, that worked. Okay, because I just pressed cancel, but okay. Let's move this bad boy up a little bit. Yup. That works. Very good. I like that little graphic we had from yesterday. Now yesterday I noticed my mic was actually a bit quiet, and so I'm wondering if I'm so far away, does that still work? Ideally, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna connect a different microphone here, and it's gonna be the ones that I attach to my face. Not my face, but closer to me. Let me just take that out. Give me 1 second. Just skip to the front and until I'm doing stuff here, and then it's easy. We're setting up USB composite device. Microphone input, DJI Mini. Does this work? Nice. Nice. Let me then, because it looks like it's a bit loud. Turn down the gain a bit. Yes, there we go. Very nice. All right. Hey. Awesome sauce. I just connected my DJI to my PC. That feels pretty nice. Should I? No, I'm not gonna put on some music. Anyway, let's get to it. Got the pen here, and we're gonna think about, right, what's my niche? I want to put this into some segments because I want to have like my niche, and then like my ideal customer profile. Or do I start with my ideal customer first, and then go back to my niche? It's like, you know, my ideal customer, and how can I provide for them? Right, provide. What can I do for them? Okay, so first off, right, let's just go generally. I know I want to do business stuff. Business, right? Generally, I want to do business things. Do I care about lifestyle content? Not really. Not really. Lifestyle, well, it's like, it's my personal brand, you know what I mean? At that point, how much does lifestyle go out of there? Because I'm not doing, like, it's educational stuff that I want to do, for sure. So I want to help people. And that's also why I did it the way I did, because I wanted to help people like myself start their business, right? Just get into it in the first place. That's why I chose my approach. To show that, you know, it's scrappy in the beginning and it's fine if it's scrappy. So it's business, right, predominantly. And it's also just the things I'm passionate about, right? It's my personal brand, so it's things I can just talk about. But let's just stick with business for a second and say, because how much, see, what I really love is marketing. Okay, business, right? Marketing. I want to talk a bunch about marketing. I love marketing. I want to learn more about marketing. I want to get more into that. It's a great thing I can talk about. Talk about what I'm learning. See, I don't need to say everything that I know. I can say everything that I'm learning. Okay, we can talk about marketing. People care about marketing, right? How do you bring your things to the front? I mean, at that point, right, there's marketing, there's storytelling. There's scripting. Storytelling, scripting, right? I mean, then there's like, what are the things that I'm like, because I'm interested in content marketing, actually. Is that a subset of marketing? Or do I take that as the general niche? Because then, do I talk about business, really? I don't think I'm talking about business. Because business would be everything from finance. I don't care about finance. I don't care about what kind, like I don't care about really much about legislature. Right, because I do social media marketing. That's what I do, predominantly. Okay, let's take that. And it's fine, because if this isn't what it is, then I'll just go back and just, start again. That's totally okay. So we got content marketing. Okay, so we got, right. But it's also brands. Let's do marketing for a second. Marketing. Right. From marketing, I got content marketing. Right, this is what I care about most. This is what I like the most. This is what I like to research the most. This is also what I like doing the most. And I like doing that for myself, and I also like doing that for brands. In content marketing, I imagine, okay, there's two ways about it, right? What do I care about? Because I care about marketing for businesses, and I care about marketing for people. Now, I feel like there's enough content out there marketing for people. There's little content. I feel like, what about, content marketing for the people of a business to say, you're not a big business. Because what I'm learning right now is how to market for businesses, right? That's what I need to learn. I also need to learn how to market for myself, and that's things I'm learning the whole time. So I might as well just talk about the things that I'm learning, right? Disseminate that knowledge. That'd be value-driven stuff that I can bring out. Content marketing. For businesses, and for people. Right. This gives me like Neil Patel energy. You know what I mean? This gives me Ava personal brand launch energy. How big is the difference? They do pretty different content. They do very different content. He's very serious. Ava, I feel like, is more personal. Both of them, I low-key respect Ava more. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, who's to say I can't be a combination of both, right? But how, because this is, okay. So this is more content marketing for businesses. Let's see, how does that look? I mean, this is already a niche. I mean, like, right, because we already have, right, these are the sub niches. I'm going into, and now I'm sub-niching even more. For businesses, what's the kind of content marketing thing that I learned that I care to, talk about? Building a brand, right? So okay. Expert positioning, right? But that's also the case for people. Maybe I should have like a segment here, but that's also the case for both. Ooh, maybe they're not that far apart, right? Building a brand. Okay, storytelling. All right. Content marketing, building a brand, storytelling, kind of just like positioning. Which is what I'm doing right now, right? Positioning, and at that point, it's like finding your ICP, positioning yourself as an expert. There's content formats. Right, positioning, ICP, positioning yourself as an expert, which is again actually part of building a brand. But I guess all of this is actually part of building a brand, right? The whole point of content marketing is building a brand, so it's okay. It makes sense. ICP, positioning yourself as an expert. I mean, it's like where do you want to be? So platforms. And so that would be, what is the behavior on the different platforms, right? Formats. I'd say, what else is really relevant for content marketing? I could talk about how AI fits into all of this. But am I specifically knowledgeable about that? I'm going to put that in brackets. Because what am I specifically like? I mean, I'm learning content creation. I'm learning how to build an agency. Okay. So that's the business thing I can talk about, right? Agency. And that would be how to create, and this is the whole business segment, right? It's like how to, right? And then it's all of this, right? It's all of positioning, how to positioning, how to found it, how to, right? Create a business. Is this readable? Yeah, how to found a business, how to, your agency. What I'm learning now is leads. How to generate leads for my business. How to communicate. I mean, communication is still a thing I'm passionate about. Very much something I'm passionate about. Communication is something I'm passionate about. Something I can talk about a lot, as it had a lot to do with my upbringing. Should I make the camera larger again? I'm gonna just do it. Still figuring that out. Oh, okay, that's the max zoom. Fine by me. All right, teaching people how to communicate. I mean, is it teaching people how to communicate or teaching people how to communicate in bounds of their agency? I would actually want to do communication as a separate section. Those are the things I'm passionate about, right? So I'm passionate about content marketing. I'm passionate about having the agency that I have. I'm passionate about communication. I am also passionate about just creation in general, right? Moving, kind of, I'm passionate about having a passion. That is something I'm very passionate about. That is something I'm very passionate about. Dude, where do I put that? I mean, now I'm starting to answer different questions, right? But I think it's fine. Communication, I'm passionate about, right? Having passions. And I think if I go from this, I'll be able to kind of find out in what direction should my content really start going. Right? If I kind of have this broad idea, then I can say, who is this, like who can I target with this? And then I can kind of double down on that. Or I do it other way around and I post a bunch and I find out who it is, but I think that makes like sense. Like, you know, you don't bring out a product and then find out whose problem you're solving. You find out whose problem you're solving. You find out whose problem you're solving, and then you bring out a product. Right? So I'm passionate about having passions. I'm passionate about having this agency. I'm passionate about communication, marketing, specifically content marketing. I'm passionate about, yeah, bringing out people's passions, dude. That would be such a cool man on the street format. If I went around, you know, the whole like, what's your dream? If it was like, what's your passion? And then, you know, I bet there's a bunch of people who would be like, I don't know. And then it'd be like, let's find out. Let's find one for you together. Oh, would that be cool? That would be kind of sick. I'd kind of love that. I would also love doing that. I would wake up every day and I'd be excited to go outside and like talk with someone, help them. Oh, that'd be cool. Holy shit, would that be cool? Ah, that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing. Anyway, that's an idea. That's an idea, bro. I kind of love that. Okay. I'm starting to get distracted. I would watch that though too. If I'm like scrolling on Instagram and it's like, yo, what's your passion? And then someone's like, I don't have one. It's like, all right, let's make it happen. Or what's your passion? Let's explore it. Oh no. Study and work. Study and work is something that I do a bunch. That's true. Are you saying that's something I should write down? Hello, by the way. Are you the person that commented? Are you the person the other day that said you're checking out the story? Study and work. Oh, dude, no! I think I started the stream and I forgot to turn down the latency again. If it takes forever for me to respond to what you're saying, then my latency is high. Let me know if it takes a long time. Because usually, you know, the response is I answer quickly because it comes up quickly, but it might be taking longer. That would suck. Study and work. That is something. Yeah, that's something. I guess actually true, right? Because what I do really care about is how can I, you know. Because I used to not do a bunch, and I was like, dude, I want to do more. I want to do more in life. And so, what is you say? That was kind of it, right? That was kind of, I guess that's kind of what it is for having passions, is learning. It's true. Study. Study and work. Study and work is true. It's true. Is it work? Yeah, it's finding your passion. It's finding work in it's finding passion. It's finding your passion and like, yeah, getting on that grind together. It's true. It's true. It's true. Something I care about. Yeah. It's finding meaning. You know what I mean? Really, really, I think what I really care about in the end is finding meaning. Right? If I could help people find their meaning, that would be crazy. That would be so crazy. If I could help them find their passions and like their meaning, that would be crazy. And I think marketing, that's the thing. I think marketing is the way to get there. I think in most passions, showing your work is the way. I want to get people to start posting, right? I want to get people to find a passion and then start posting about that passion. No, I want people to find their passion. I do want them to get comfortable. Because you need to grow in your passion, and to grow in your passion, I feel like going through marketing, you have to go through marketing. There's no way around it. It's quintessential. It's quintessential. Okay, so I care about the agency that I have. I care about content marketing. I care about communication. I care about having passions, studying and working. Part of this is that I care about creating. Right? I care about creating. How can I get in marketing arena? How can I get in marketing arena? I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean by that. How can I get in marketing arena? I do not. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Clarify the question, I'm glad to answer. And now I think generally the point is I don't have to position, like I don't have to say all of these things like I know them. I can talk about them like I'm learning about them. Is there more here? Niches and sub-niches. Agency, having an agency. Is there a sub-niche to that? It's like, what are the problems? See, I can talk about so many things here. What are the problems with having an agency? Why is it difficult to find customers at first? How do you get over that first initial barrier? How did I get my first customer? How do you communicate with customers? Cold calling, right? Calling. Something I can talk about my experiences. Place of competitive marketing. How do you get in marketing arena? Place of competitive marketing. Make it like, one question that I can understand. How can I get into marketing arena? Place of competitive marketing. That's not a question. I can't answer that question. But just make it like a proper sentence, and I'm glad to answer it. Calling, right? That's part of the communication part. Was like, I mean, I'm learning how to communicate with customers, which means I'm also learning. I have the agency. This is difficult. Because so far I've been talking about building the business. And I want to keep talking about building the business, but I want to take a different perspective on it. Right? I want to take a perspective that shows that I'm also knowledgeable about what I'm doing, which would mean showing more of the work that I'm putting into it. Right? So far I talk about wins and losses. Yes, that's good. I'm also going to continue talking about wins and losses. I'm just going to take a more structured approach to it. Right? Which doesn't mean less excitement. It just means more credibility. It means more credibility. I mean, then the question is, what does someone talk like, or what does someone talk about that has that credibility? Because I don't have that credibility yet. I guess credibility in that case, okay, would be how much. What is a solid business plan? A solid business plan is a business plan that aims to, okay, let me see, let me try to describe this to you. Here, solid business plan. You can see that? Yeah, okay. So you need 4 segments. You need your business to be in a starving market, right? So you need here. So you need it to be in a place where people really need you. Take an example. Bro, what's like a great example? What's something, I mean, to me, honestly, I feel like what I'm doing is great because there's not many people doing social media marketing for contractors. And so it's like a small market, but importantly, it's also growing. So the problem is large, right? The problem is large. They want better customers, or the problem is large. Customers are looking, like high quality customers are looking for contractors. That's a big problem. Another big problem is handlers want to be in better positions, right? So these are big problems. You want a big problem. All right, so you want a big problem, and you want it to be in a growing market. You want it to be in a growing market. Right, so you wouldn't want here. Well, Alex Hormozy gave a great example. He said he had a friend that was working in the newspaper business, and he was doing like some kind of marketing for them. And in principle, it was a great idea. They really needed what he was doing, but for some reason, he was still starting to make less money. And the thing was that of course, he's making less money because the newspaper business was just in itself shrinking. Right, it was a starving market. They really needed what he had. But it was just a business getting smaller. You need people that can pay. So you need purchasing power. They also need to be willing to pay, which is why they need a big pain. So you have a starving market, you have a growing market, you have purchasing power, and And then there was one more thing, one more that I forgot that made something really solid. Yeah, there's a fourth thing missing. I forgot what it is. But those are, I mean, if you have these three, you're already on a good way. You know what I mean? That's what makes a solid business plan something that is actionable, right? And you want them to be easy to target. Right? With those things, you have a pretty solid business plan. If your business plan goes through all of those, your offer at least, your business is on a good way, right? You could be, because you could have a horrible offer. You could have a mediocre ass offer, standard, boring offer, right? But be in a starving market, in a starving and growing market that has purchasing power and is easy to target, and you're good. And you're gonna make money, right? You're just gonna make mad cash. Because people need what you have. Like, people need what you have. There's a lot of people that need what you have. The people that need what you have can pay for what you offer. And it's not that difficult to find the people that need what you have. That makes a solid business plan. I hope that helps. Which is also kind of where my business plan is not that solid, because I'm in a shrinking market, actually. And do they have purchasing power? They do. They do. Are they easy to target? Pretty easy. I've been a bit stupid so far. Do they have the pain? I think so. I know enough people that do have the pain, so that's fine. I think this is stuff that I'm down to talk about. These are things that I'm down to talk about, for sure. This, talking about the agency that I have, I feel like there's a lot of approaches to go for it. Building a marketing agency. Well, I can talk about this in a pretty serious way. I can talk about that in a pretty serious way. I can talk about content marketing like I'm learning about it, also in a serious way. Where's my personality in all of this? I think my personality really, where I come through is in this whole passions thing. So I would talk about, all of it is okay. All of it would be building a passionate life through an open community. Oh, something like that. All of this would be through the lens of, because what I want is to build a passionate life also for myself. What I want is other people to build a passionate life, right? That's what all of this in the end is about. That's what me starting my business is about. That's what the whole series so far has been about. That's what everything has been about, that. Starting a passionate life together, right? Having a community of people. Okay. So it's passion and community. I'm thinking of like what I'm trying to find one sentence that basically encapsulates everything that I care about. Because even communication is about community, right? And loneliness. But I wouldn't put that in the main sentence. It wouldn't be like building a passionate life with a lively community to combat loneliness. Or do you think that sounds good? Building a passionate life with a lively community to combat loneliness. Nah, or is it just building a passionate life with a lively community? Building a passionate life together. You know what? There's a book that I read that would answer this question that I'm trying to find. And I need to find that again. I need to make a book review on that book. It's Russell Brunson's Traffic Secrets? .com secrets, which one? I think it's .com secrets. See, but the thing is here, if I go about it like that, passions, community, I feel like that I'm targeting humans, right? Because what I don't want to, what my current approach did a lot more, which I also love. I do really love it. I get a bunch of, I get a lot more younger people in, right? And that's awesome because they have fire, bro. They have fire. Like in here, Sham is in here, bro. Sham is making stuff happen. You know what I mean? We got Moritz in here. Moritz is making stuff happen. We also, on the other side, we do get entrepreneurs, right? We do have like 2 or 3 people that come by and they have their businesses going and they're making stuff happen. That's cool. I love that. And this would target more so like I feel like this targets more so I want to target people that want to start building things. I want to target people that are building things. I want to target people that are building things. Yeah. People that are building things is very different from people who want to start building things. So one guy I know, he makes a bunch of content about how to start posting or like, making content or staying perseverant in the whole process of making content. And I find that very interesting. I like his content. Is this enough to get going? Because the thing is, what am I uniquely knowledgeable about? Communication. I'm uniquely not like, as in, yes, I'm uniquely knowledgeable about communication. That's something I can talk about. That's something I can research about. That's something I can talk about, all of that, right? I can yap about communication. I'm not uniquely knowledgeable about content marketing. I'm learning, maybe I am. I very well might be. If I think about how much knowledge do I have about content marketing in comparison to the average person, a buttload. A buttload. In my head, it's like everyone looks at that stuff, everyone cares about it, everyone researches it, but no, my feed is full of content marketing shit. So I'm just always learning about it. Okay, it's actually pretty good to know. Do I have the experience to back it up? No. I have the experience in communication to back it up. So that's where I have some sort of credibility because of the things I've done and the places I've been growing up in 7 different countries, holding speeches, 3 of them or 4 of them so far. There's things to back this up. There's few things to back up this yet. That's the whole point also of building the channel, is to show that I can market properly. But for that, I think I have to kind of change my approach, do more of it, get a more structured approach. That's what I'm doing here, right? That's what I'm building here. About the agency, I have my experience that I can talk about. So here I don't have that much credibility yet. Here I have the most credibility, and here about finding my passion, I have a lot of credibility there. Used to live a very passionless life, found a lot of passion along the way, was a lot of work, but there's an approach that you can choose. There's a way to get there, right? And I can share that way to get there. Oof. Oh, I love that. No, this is what I'm doing. I'm going into that. 100%. Helping people find their passion is something I want to do. For sure. Okay, that's good to know. Helping people find their passion. And I can talk about content marketing, and I can talk about having an agency through the lens of building a passionate life with people. Building a passionate life with people. Building a passionate life with people. Building a passionate life together. That's something I care about. How can communication foreign language? That is, how can I communicate in a foreign language? You know what? Put the question into an AI in your language and translate it with the AI, and then put it into the chat. And then I think I can help you better, because how can communication foreign language is how can I communicate in a foreign language? How do you communicate in foreign languages? What does good communication look like in foreign languages? Like I don't know what the question means. I'm so sorry. Building a passionate life together. I kind of love that. And this also works into my general narrative so far. Into my narrative, right? Into what I've been making so far. It is my narrative. Building a passionate life together. Mechanic, sick. I love that. It's crazy that you already have a passion. I mean, that you even have one is great. There's a bunch of people in here that are still finding theirs. My passion is mechanic. Same, actually. I really love mechatronics, if you know what that is. I learned, I do mechatronics right now. Cool. Very nice. How did you find it? Wait, you're German? Okay. In that case, if you're German, you can put your questions in there in German, and I can answer them in English. I'll answer them in English for, future viewers. My passion is mechanic. Germany. Yeah. Oh, Oh, that's an actual language. Gemini. Dutch Mandarin. You speak Mandarin? I mean, in that case, bro. But there's enough. Yeah, just if you have a question, and the English is scrappy, throw it into an AI, let it be translated, and then throw the question back, and I can work with those. I can work with those. Building a passionate life together. Talking about my agency. Talking about marketing. Talking about communication. All of that to build a passionate life. Right? Talking about finding your passion, talking about studying and working, talking about finding meaning, talking about creating. Right? I want to talk about all of these. I want to talk about content marketing because it helps show your work, right? It's building a passionate life, and honestly, it's building a passionate life and growing to show it together. Because that's also what I cared about. For me, it was really difficult to show my work. You know what I mean? Show, bring myself out there, but I always knew I wanted to. Building a passionate life and growing to show it together. No, it's not necessarily about showing it. I do care about that. Like, I do care about it for sure. But really, if I got a bunch of people to build a passionate life and not show it, I'd be like, that's it. Do your thing. You know what I mean? If you're living a happy life, you're living a happy life. If you're building a passionate life and you grow to show it, I'm like, damn, nice. But that's because I also care about success. Build a passionate and successful life. Do I care about them being successful if they're happy, though? Building a passionate life. Building a passionate and successful life? No. Building a passionate life together. Building a passionate life with a community that cares. With a community that cares. With a community that cares. I kind of love that. Building a passionate life with a community that cares. I love that. Building a passionate life together. No, I don't care. It's not about just doing it together, right? It's about doing it, yeah, together, but like we should care about what we're doing. That's the point. We should be building a passionate life with a community that cares. It's actually together with a community that cares. Yeah. Building a passionate life together with a community that cares. I think that's what I care about. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's close. I care about, passions, right? I care about having an excitement in life. No, towards life. It's about being excited for life. For, yeah. Yeah. Do I care about passion or do I care about excitement? Because can I be passionate about something and still hate my life? Yeah, for sure. I can be like, dude, I love mechanics. Like, I love everything that has to do with mechanics, but I hate my life. So what? It's building a life worth living with a community that cares. Whoa. Did I just cook? Did I just cook? Building a life worth living with a community that cares, together with a community that cares. I think that's it. Oh, that's a lot closer. Building a passionate life. No. For me, a life worth living is a life I live with passion. Right? So there's more in there, but a life worth living encapsulates more. But I don't want to tell people, you know, what a life worth living is. But maybe I can just leave it open to them, right? Well, to me, no. To me, a life worth living is one in which, you know, I can wake up excited. I can wake up to something I'm passionate about. A life worth living is something in which, you know, I get to create. A life worth living is something in which I get to enact change in the world. For me, a life worth living isn't a life of consumption. For me, a life worth living, building a life of creation together with a community that cares. Is creating that what makes life worth living for me? Creating together. That is a lot of what makes life worth. Damn. You know, because it's also creating experiences together. I care about that. Yeah, that's what I care about. Creating things together. Whether it's experiences, that's what I care about. Building a life of creation together with a community that cares. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm about. That's why I have this agency. I wanted to create. I wanted to move away from consuming. I wanted to move towards creating. I made an agency, right? That's why I went into content marketing, because I wanted to move away from consuming content to creating content, because I had that drive to create in me. I wanted to stop living a life of consumption and start living a life of creation. Building a life of creation together with a community that cares. Building means that I'm moving from one broken thing to, like, I'm going towards somewhere. That's why, because I was thinking, am I including, because I do care about going from consumption to creation. That's something I care about. So it's building a life of creation together, right? I do care about doing it with a community that cares. And I care about having passions. I care about having passions because it brings me towards a life of creation and fulfillment. Yes. And fulfillment. Because I can create and not be fulfilled. That's why I always thought of passions. But I can have passions and not be fulfilled. I care a lot about finding fulfillment. I care maybe the most about finding fulfillment. I care about finding fulfillment because of, like, I care about creation because I'm trying to find fulfillment. I care about having a community because I'm trying to find fulfillment. Building a life of creation with a community that cares to find fulfillment. Down. What's that quote, bro? Did you just drop that? Is that you? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a crazy line. What that means? Wait, what? What that means? What language do you speak? That's wild. If I can explain it in a second. I can explain that in a second. Build a life of creation with, that's a crazy line. From the winds of routine and neglect. Interesting. I wouldn't have called routine and neglect a wind by any means. I would have called it like a boulder. From, yeah, it just rolls. You know what I mean? And it's just slow and drab. Or marriage. Ah, okay. Okay. Um, building a life of creation with a building a life of creation with a community that cares to find fulfillment together. That's what I care about. That's it. That's what I care about. I care about building a life of creation with a community that cares to find fulfillment together. Creation, no. Creation and passion. With the caring, with the caring community to find fulfillment together. Something like that. I can work on it. I can work on it. Are you asking what that means? Is that like a question? Because I can imagine it's a metaphor. If it's like a metaphor from your life, it's fire you tend together with, feed with intention and protect from the winds of routine and neglect. That's such a crazy line. It's fire. I'm protecting the fire from wind. Okay. It's fire you tend together, feed with intention and protect from the winds of routine and neglect. I just said cold. Cold is what I would have used. Something but wind. Wind is too active for routine and neglect, I find. Building a life of fulfillment and passion with a community that cares to find fulfillment together. That sentence is too long. Creation and passion. The reason I care about them is because I think they make us intent in life. I'm scared of living a life like I used to, you know what I mean? With no intention, kind of just floating, existing. Purpose is what I care about. Building a life of purpose with a community that cares to find fulfillment together. Purpose already gives you fulfillment, right? But only if you're acting upon it. Yeah. Time banking and skill sharing, mutual aid. Yeah. Yeah, big time. Things I care about. Yeah. I don't know what time banking is. Never heard of time banking. Building a life of creation and passion with a community that cares to find fulfillment together. Of intent. An intent life, to me, would be one that is fulfilling. An intent life that I act upon is, for me, fulfilling. Is it? With a community. An intent life, creation and passion. What brings creation and passion together? Is it intent? Building a life of intent with a community that cares to find fulfillment together. Building a life of creation and passion. Yo, that's a line. That is a line. Is a community-based, non-monetary exchange system where individuals swap skills and services, with 1 hour of labor equaling 1 time credit, regardless of the task's nature. That's crazy. Never heard of that. Never heard of that. That's pretty cool though. I like that idea. I think it's an interesting idea. Interesting idea. I wonder what the no, I actually kind of love that. If we can all decide what we want to trade for. If it was like, you give me your skill, you give me your skills as a mechanic, I'll give you my knowledge of content marketing, and we just find something together that way, that's actually super cool. If it was like, someone was like, yo, I'll give you my skills as a mechanic, but for an hour, I can choose what you do, so you have to clean my toilet. I don't know about that. I'm good. You know what I mean? Building a life of intent. I think intent, it doesn't hit it. I care about creation and passion. Do I care about intent? Do I do things intently? I can do things intently and not be passionate about them. Yeah. I can not create things and intently not create things. That's fine by me. But I do care about living a tight, well, honestly, I don't need to be intent. I could also bumble about in my life and still be fulfilled if I'm creating and if I'm passionate. You know what I mean? I did that for some time. I bumbled about heavy. So I could I don't know if I could find fulfillment without creating. And I don't know if I could find fulfillment without passion. I think I need to create to be fulfilled. I think I need a community to be fulfilled. I think I need passion to be fulfilled. Building a life of passionate creation with a community that cares to find fulfillment together. Can I passionately consume? Does that make me fulfilled? I feel like it only makes me fulfilled if it helps me create. Can I passionately consume? I think I can. I could read a book and really enjoy the book that I'm reading and just love the book for what it is. Say, I don't have to write a book. I don't have to. It's okay. It's fine. Is it for me then about creating that experience? No, I'm not creating the experience. I'm consuming. So it's about creation and passion. Right? With a community that cares. With a caring community. Building a life of creation and passion with a caring community to find fulfillment together. Because that's easier to say than what I was rocking there before. The caring community. No. Caring isn't the right word. No, with a community that cares. Building a life of creation and passion to find fulfillment with a community that cares. Building a life of creation and passion with a community that cares to find fulfillment together? It's too much. Building a life of creation and passion to find fulfillment together with a community that cares. No, building a life of creation and passion to find fulfillment with a community that cares. Building a life of creation and passion to find fulfillment. That's what I'm doing. That's what I want you to be doing too. And that's why I want it to be a community that cares. Building a life of creation and passion to find fulfillment with a community that cares. I think that's what it is. Right? Building a life of creation and passion to find fulfillment with a community, together with a community that cares. Building a life of creation and passion to find fulfillment together with a community that cares. With a community that cares, I mean, the together would actually be at the end. Because it's not that I'm doing it, it's not that I'm doing it and I'm doing it together with a community that cares. Like that, because putting it to the front means they're separate, right? I want it to be at the end because I'm saying the both of us. Building a life of creation and passion to find fulfillment with a community that cares together, right? It's us. Building a life of creation to find fulfillment together with a community that cares, which means these two things are combined. Right? Yes, yes, yes. To find fulfillment. To find fulfillment with a community that cares together. That's not proper English, bro. Building a life of creation and passion to find fulfillment with a community that cares together. Building a life of creation and passion to find fulfillment together with a community that cares. Something like that, man. Something like that. But I think I want to combat loneliness. I want to encourage peacefulness. Togetherness. I want to encourage acceptance. I also want to encourage, reflection. Listening. I want to encourage listening. I think these are the things I care about. I'm gonna go here. These are the things I care about. Pretty much. I do care about success, actually. Whatever that means, right? Whatever that means to whoever it is, I do care about success. But I care about success to find fulfillment. I'm just going to put it on there. Is my chair in the way? It's success. Something I care about. How do you write success? Success. No, that's not how you write success. Oh, he cannot write success. That's tough. Let's find that out real quick. Before I keep writing, you can enjoy my super zoomed in face. Okay, I wrote it right the first time, as in when I put it into the device. And now I think that's a pretty good list of things I roughly care about. Family should be in there. That's part of community. No, family just should be in there. Family should be in there for sure. Family. Community, right? It's all part of community, but it's like community, I guess in that case, I'm gonna write hey, you know what? Friends, family, friends, relationships. Community. Feels better. Yeah, no, that feels better. For sure. Compassion, bro. Honestly, compassion. Compassion is another thing I care about. I care about compassion. I care about, what's that called? Compassion. It's not altruism. I don't really care about altruism. I don't even believe in altruism. I care about the willingness to help others. What's the word for that? All right. I think cybernetics? What, bro? No, I'm not passionate about. Actually, cybernetics are pretty sick. Cybernetics are pretty sick. It's not something I'm passionate about though. They're cool though. Cool as fuck. I think that's a list, man. I think that's a list. I can use that. Let me just get out of the way so that I can take a screenshot of that. Wait a second. There we go. Screenshot. Those are the things I care about. Nice. It's a pretty good list. I'm happy with that list. Let me zoom out this camera so that you don't have to be so in my face. There we go. Some crazy zoom, right? Some pretty crazy zoom. All right. Dude, wild. Let me switch my microphones. Back. Yeah, man. That's a pretty solid wrap. I think that should give me a pretty good guideline of how I should continue making content. These are the things I want to talk about. I think these are the things I want to educate about. Is that my personal brand? My history is also in there. My history should be in there. It's a thing for itself. Okay. Hey. It's a solid wrap. That's a solid wrap. I'm going to throw that into an AI and see if they can give me, if they can like sort it in a way that makes sense. But this is gonna be my new content strategy. Building a life of creation and passion to find fulfillment with a community that cares together. Oh! No, that's cool. Okay, yeah, valid. That's something I find. That's something I do care about. I made a post some time ago where I talked about how AI is going to allow us to communicate with each other across language barriers. And I am so excited for that. I am so incredibly excited to be able to go into a different country, just pop out my phone, talk into it, right? And then I can just talk with another human. Or like, I don't know, I have something like on my ear or something, and they're saying words at me and it's being translated in real time. I would absolutely love that. Hey, I think this is a wrap. That's a wrap. That's a wrap for this. I'm gonna stream later, probably. But for now, I'm gonna use this and see how I adapt my content, man. See what I do with this going forward. I think I might go somewhere with this, man. I think this makes a lot of sense. And I think I'm really down to build with this. I'm really down to build with this. I have to change my content, I have to change my strategy, I have to go about all of this I believe in a different way than I've been going about it so far. I think I've been doing something wrong. And I'm excited to see where I go with this, man. Where I go with this, what changes, how we grow. How we grow together. I'm excited to see how we grow together. As we often have. And we often will again. Goodbye. And until later, I'm going to be making a bunch of content. And I found out I can't stream editing because my PC is too bad. Bro. Yeah, my PC is too trash. I'm going to see if I'm going to be on later. I'd love to be on later. Maybe later Sham and the other ones are on. That'd be super cool. Gang, it's been great fun. It's been great fun. As we often have.